world is called Hanbin, in which Hanbin has been selected as a suitable candidate, and as well his goal is to survive and grow in that world. As he saw, he was curious about what happened all of a sudden and the hell that was going on with the dog with the way he was behaving. He didn't have any time to grasp that situation or feel surprised at that new reality, but he was certain that the dog is dead because he stoned it with a stone, and he said that if he didn't kill the dog and that it would have killed him instead. But later he realized that the dog is not dead yet and asked the dog the reason why he was messing up with him. Then he saw a guideline that a species of demon dog of level 1 is the lowest level monster in Hanbin, which possesses combat powers similar to an unarmed adult male. Then the guideline informed him that he can gain experience from defeating powerful monsters, and that will allow him to level up. He wondered what guidelines were all about and thought if he did get stuck in a virtual reality game or something, and also thought about just when did everything start to go wrong. He remembers when he would wake up at noon every day that he would think he was lazy because it was actually 3 months of doing nothing after getting discharged from the army is more than enough time for any soldier to become lazy. When he was in the army, he thought that he would be able to do anything he wanted when he became a civilian again. But the last 3 months were nothing but a dark haze, and even after spending almost 2 years in the army. And the reality about him is that nothing about him changed at all as he disappeared from his room. All suitable candidates have been accepted, and he thought he was dead and asked if it was all of them because he heard that there was a pool of over 7 billion candidates, and it is because there were over 7 billion possible candidates that they were able to get that many, and in which it was true. And he thought about what they were talking about, what they should transmit the guidelines to the candidates. He really thought if that was the best way to do things, and it seems a bit artificial but not a god, then it was a person. The method has already been proven to work with previous suitable candidates, and it helps to motivate them and helps them adapt as he understands then the commence guideline transmission, and it looks like there is an error in the guideline upload, and whatever, it's just one that he will be fine as candidate number 398. Commencing dimensional transport as he was selected as the suitable candidate among them and stoned the dog to die. That world is called Hanbin, and it is a reality where one demon dog is defeated and has gained plus 13 experience as he was in his reality, and then he thought about his life, parents, and what is really going wrong with him. Then he realized that he just got discharged from the army 3 months ago, and he hadn't even dated a girl yet, and reason why it had to be him, because there are a bunch of people who evade military service. He was notified that he has a caution that his probability of surviving Hanbin, his current abilities, is 5%, as he was surprised that the system was testing his last bit of sanity and asked him if he would like to admit defeat and die. He later knew that those bastards kidnapped him as a perfectly healthy person, dropped him into another world, and then suddenly told him to kill monsters, gain experience, and level up, and asked the system that if he commits suicide at will he send him home, and he thought to himself that he needed to stay calm, and he thought about it that they never kidnapped them if they were just going to send them home after they commit suicide, and whether he like it or not he will die, and that will be the end, and all he just have to concentrate on surviving and finding way out of that place. Then the system notified him that his confirmation of will for survival combat ability has been activated, and he was asked to choose a class, and he said he won't survive just using his bare hands. And being notified that the warrior resource aura has a close-range fighter who uses a variety of martial arts. And he thought that the class might be fun when playing a video game, but in real combat, he doesn't have to be anywhere near the monsters, and that long-distance combat is the safest. The wizard has available resources man with a long-ranged attacker that uses powerful magic that's spread across 6 different attributes, and then he said he will choose the wizard because his selection has been rejected as he lacks the necessary talent for that class, and in which a person's talent matters there too. Then he knew it when he was notified that his selection had been rejected as he lacked the necessary talent for that class, and being notified that he had selected the warrior class, he was told to choose his basic warrior's weapon, and whatever the long range is still the best, and he will not compromise on that. He has been selected as the longsword as his basic weapon, and he said he has done many things for the guide as he noticed that there is an error in that one's guideline. He said he doesn't like being manipulated by those bastards, and at least still better than staying at the rock, and Hex said he hates dying even more, and that was unending hellish life as a leveling up began. It's been 7 days since he was dropped into Hanbin. He tried asking how he could go back countless times, but the guideline never answered me could it be because it's defective anyway. He has been fighting to stay alive. "You bastard, come on, don't just run away," said Hanbin to the demon dog. It's always demon dogs, and if he asks him what he has learned, it's that these demon dogs also level up, and after he swing his sword, it uses that opportunity to rush in and attack me. Are the demon dogs getting used to his fighting styles? He asks himself, just like he's getting used to theirs. Then he will just do this. He have no talent with the sword at all, But when he got to level 2, he gained a skill he wanted just suddenly appeared in my guideline. But my new stab skill came to as naturally as breathing. If you explore the features available in the guideline looking through the guideline's functions, demon dog meat could be considered the perfect food, but unlike their violent nature, their teeth and claws are dull and can't be used for anything. This place was definitely artificially created. There has to be a reason why someone brought me here. They wouldn't just kidnap me and keep me here for no reason. Are these all of them? He heard there was a pool of over 7 billion candidates. He wondered where all the other candidates went. This place is called Rock Mountain. Let me get this straight. The demon dogs are getting stronger. There's no mistaking that this is important information, but what about how he can get home? Hanbin sighed. He can't rely on my guideline and that he need to meet other players and get more information. From that point on, he went around looking for demon dogs. He went hunting. That fucking hurts, you bastard. The demon dogs leveled up with me, so he was only barely able to survive by the skin of my teeth each time. The demon dogs continued to get tougher. He fought and he got hurt, killed, hurt, slept as well, and continued to fight again and also got hurt again. And after all those things he has done, he has gained plus 81 experience points as well as sufficient experience, and as well on the 27th day, he has gained a level, and during that time, he leveled up and learned those skills. And on top of that, the increase in stats seems to have had some effect on his body, and for Hanbin, the stats is a shining example of a victorious man. Even that sword that he could barely lift before is like a feather at that moment. In that world, he can see the results of his handwork, and at least that was all he thought as he gained up and raised to level 4. Hanbin said the guideline must be spazzing out again, and it's just a message error from the window. And like the level up window is just buggy as he looks at his stats with a strength of 21 and stamina of 17 and resilience of 13, defense of 12, vision of 5, dexterity of 7 and speed of 8. And according to his stats, he saw that he was back to level 1, and it looks like his stats are still there, and his skills are still there as well with his evaluation. At first, he tried to look at things optimistically. Level 1 is the safe zone, and so that means that the demon dogs will go back down to level 1 too, and that doesn't mean it will be easy for him to level up again. And that was totally awesome for him and the species of demon dog of level 1, and he found out that he was wrong, that the demon dogs got stronger regardless of their level. Hanbin continued to put his life on the line with each fight, and he is sure it will work out that time for him. As he kept killing those demon dogs, they kept getting stronger, and he kept checking his experience as well. There are only 77 more experience points left till he reaches level 5, and he will get it that time, since it is lucky number 7, and for 7 years he went through that endless cycle of his level constantly going from 4 to 1. Candidates don't age, and because of their recovery ability, light wounds heal in a day, that even though his level goes down to 1, his stats don't decrease. But because Hanbin cannot level up any further, he hasn't been able to learn any new skills. And the only skills he have are stab, horizontal slash, and vertical slash, as that day was his lucky day. But on the flip side, the demon dogs got stronger just as he got stronger, and the system side that was to help candidates become stronger, but it isn't more like it was created to kill them, and asked him if they can still call that safe. But whatever it is, it's all the same for Hanbin. Hanbin thought he was back home, and he said it makes sense, he just got discharged and that he should sleep some more, and he was surprised about what the system brought to him, that will he like to admit defeat and die. Hanbin said he have killed demons dogs like crazy for the last 10 years, and as he survived that day as well, and he have gotten strong enough that he wouldn't die even if he fell from up there. But all he have done is not to die, in which he was back to level 1, and he thought if he could even call that a living, and he thought if he could just end it, and he even thought about it countless times. And which was right in his sight, that if he kill himself there, will there even be any guarantee that he would be able to go back home? And even if it doesn't, would it be better to just die rather than keep living that way? And if he was going to die, still if he can't die, thought Hanbin, as he thought to kill one more bastard. At the 10 years mark, and after one, he was dropped into that world, and he gave up counting the days, in which he wondered how much time has passed since then. Hanbin thought it was 5 or 7 years, and he didn't just sit on his ass, and though he even found a hobby, and then there was even daily chores for him to do. It was not easy surviving alone for Hanbin, but that harsh environment doesn't allow laziness, and that was reality for him. And if the situation cannot be changed, he will have to just take each day as it comes and do what he can, and since area had nothing but rocks and dogs, and he had to make things for himself from them, and that was how he built his own house. Hanbin had devoted himself to living each day and called it a great day, and it's nice that the weather is always great because he is no longer filled with rage as he defeated a demon dogs on his way home. 3 years later, Hanbin said it took him 3 years to build that house, and the demon frog demolished it in an instant, and he said it was right that the house was a bit cracked, and then that time he should have to build a palace with his bones, he thought. Those days, all he got were those huge demon dogs, and they were loud and didn't even taste good. And for such a fat task, he could pretty quickly do it, but still, while constantly hunting them, he noticed an attack pattern. And once the fight starts, they begin with a melee attack. And he thought the bastard started with a special move, and it is impossible to avoid that bastard's dragon's breath. And because the attack area is so large, and so he just has to brace himself and block the attack. There are no salons out there yet, and he went and burned his ends, and when those bastards are surprised, they rapidly cast lightning, light, and fire spells, and those spells come to him too fast, and getting hit by them hurts. So he has to create an earth wall to block them. Then he wraps it up, and he never could get the hang of swordsmanship, and on top of that, he can't level up, and so he can't learn any new skills, but with the hundreds and thousands and tens of thousands of times he have used them, and he have learned to use all 3 skills at once, which is cross impact of triple skill attack. And it is not a real skill, but not a single monster has survived after getting hit by that, and it looks like he survived that day, and his current location was Selva Latna. And someone said that is the guy who got the error that one time as he was holding Ryu Hanbin's picture, and he thought, why the guys is this there? And at that moment, the 5th generation is in Jaren Latna, and the one before that, the 4th generation, was in Lohar Latna. And that mini is in the 3rd generation, which is Sela Latna, and which started 22 years ago. And then the monster was annoyed that he can't kill Ryu Hanbin, and he is in a big trouble, and also thought he is in level 4 and wondered how he did survive for 22 years, and his stats and skill are shitty too. And he doesn't understand, but maybe that was for the best because they have found a way to deal with Hanbin at that moment. Ryu Hanbin said he knows that it's always like that, but he's getting pretty good at reaching level 4 as he looks at his stats with a strength of 25, stamina of 21, resilience of 15, defense of 16, and vision of 6, in which additional status was open. And after studying his stats and saying whatever it will be, he will still be level 4, and he said he wanted to eat something delicious and meet other people, and he wondered how much longer he had to live like that. Ryu Hanbin thought of how much longer he had to live, then he said he can't die as long as he is alive and that he will be able to leave someday. And he told himself to think positively. And the demon said if he deal with Hanbin like that, it could be a problem, but he can just erase record of that guy anyway as a level 4. He is going to die immediately on the Latna continent as he goes and disappear to the Latna continent. The dimensional transport of suitable candidates has commenced as Hanbin thought to the demon that don't they ever tire of arriving like that, as he noticed them and called them alien devils. Ryu Hanbin said at some point he had started to believe that the world he was in was reality, and he thought that there was no way. The bright red sky where the sun neither rises nor sets, and after all that time, all of a sudden the trees with twisted branches, and of course he can't believe it. The hellish barren, rocky landscape which is at Sat Forest or Lut Kingdom, which is the northern Latna continent, and as he got there, he guessed his house had gone. But whatever that place is way better than that godforsaken mountain, and it was strange for him that since he came there, suddenly his level has increased to level 5, and he got new communication skill as well. And he thought, didn't it say that he had to be level 29 in order to go to the Latna continent, and so he was surprised why he was transported there so early at level 5 as the system has broken again, and he thought what the hell he was supposed to do. And that is the first time Ryu Hanbin has that window broken, and his final mission was stated in the window that he should eliminate one of the 6 goddesses of Latna. And if he kills a goddess then, as a reward as the final mission rewards is immortality, return to Earth will the abilities he have accumulated, and he hath 3 wishes and have been granted 3 wishes. He was also given recommendation to conceal his true identity from the residents of Latna and register as a hunter at the Hunters Guild in the city of Onpros. And then he saw a monster, and he thought the first monster to appear as a filthy otherworld devil would dare to enter his forest domain and attack him without even having a weapon. And at a time like that, he thought to himself that he needed to get to the sword, and it was too late for him to get the sword, because the demon is close to him. In a situation like that, he would have to surprise the enemy and worry about killing them later. Then Hanbin hit the demon and get to grab his sword, and he defeated the demon peacefully. Once upon a time in the kingdom of Ixrad, there existed a brilliant dragon who lived amongst the Sky Drake Knights, and that dragon's name was Efer, and she was the pride of the knights. However, hardship fell upon the beloved Efer, and it came in the form of an immature prince who demanded to ride Efer, and however, riding a dragon is very difficult, and in the end the immature prince and the poor dragon's knight was executed. The other knights helped Efer to escape the kingdom, and however, even deep in an unknown forest, Efer didn't have time to mourn her fate. For otherworldly adventures would frequently appear, and however, the highly trained genius Ephir could never bring herself to kill them. It was Ephir's kind heart that was the cause of her misfortune, and one day, the hunters from another world gathered en masse to kill Ephir, but she barely defeated them, which convinced her of one fact, that she couldn't let those otherworlders live. But after that, the otherworlders just kept appearing, so there was nothing he could do. Plus, he is not even a real dragon, and dragons are large and have 4 legs plus a pair of wings, and while wyverns are small and their front legs are also their wings, and he was in wyvern also. Then he told the demon that the common knowledge to spare him, and Hanbin said he doesn't care about that how did he know that he was from another world, and he can't just tell him by looking at them. But when an otherworlders dies, their body disappears, and also Latnians rarely ever step foot in that forest. Hanbin thought all was an intuition. Then that means there is nothing about his appearance that would give him away, and the Berlug kingdom fell ages ago, and is then called the Exrod kingdom, and the guideline is out of date, and he was annoyed. The demon told Hanbin to please spare him, and he did not realize he was that strong, and Hanbin replied and said he should have just laid low then, and asked him the reason why he attacked him, and Yi demon answered and said it is because he was a demon form in another world, and which is the goddesses, and Hanbin told him to tell him in details. Then he said otherworlders began to appear in Latna 40 years ago, but he is a lot of pain at that moment, and asked would it be alright if he went home to get some medicine, and he told him that he was doing it on purpose, and he asked if he wanted him to beat him some more. At first, the Otherworlders and the Latnians lived together in peace, but that doesn't last long. The Otherworlders began to slaughter the Latvians in order to level up, and the more powerful Otherworlders banded together and formed the Great Earth, which is a group dedicated to killing the goddesses, and those Otherworlders were very strong. Because similar to dragons, they had the ability to easily level up by simply killing, and there was no way to stop them as their leader was level 100. But then they arrived the Potalt, the Swordmaster, Zanavia, the Archmage, Garan, the Lightning, Holy, and the Transcendent. The 4 heroes of the continent massacred the otherworldly demons in an instant, and after that, oracles of the 6 goddesses were placed all over the continent. The Otherworlders are evil spirits who sign a contract with an evil demon, and which makes them demons in that world, and that was why people from other worlds are immediately executed when found. Hanbin was kidnapped and left to rot on a bleak rock mountain for her, and she told to go snaked and do what he finally got out. But the moment he discovered by people in that world, the entire continent will become his enemy, and those all happened before he was even an egg. And so that was all caused by the demon targeting the goddesses. He said he doesn't give a rat's ass if you make a deal with a goddess or become her underline, but he was going to kill that fucking demon and get ass back home. But the thing is that he can't have anyone knowing his true identity, and he knows that that guy is an otherworldly demon, and he will go hide somewhere, and he won't say a word about it, and he can act like a regular wyvern and pretend that he can't speak. 5 days later, when he leaves the Sat Forest, he will see a large city walk that stretches across the horizon located in the northern part of the Exrod Kingdom, and it is called the Ompros City. And for a city located on the outskirts of the kingdom, Ompros boasts a huge size and population, and nearby, there is the Sat Forest and the Great Open Plains, where monsters and dungeons constantly appear, and countless hunters risk their lives to try and get rich quick, which is the Ompros Hunters Guild, and that anyone who set foot there is either a hunter, someone trying to become a hunter, or is an otherworldly being. As they entered the Ompros city, the people said they have never seen him before, that he is huge, and thought maybe he come from a different guild, and he's definitely a veteran hunter, and he was welcomed by a lady, and she said she haven't seen him around there before, so that must be his first time visiting the Ompros Hunters Guild, and she asked him how he can help him. And Hanbin said he wants to register as a hunter, and for Hanbin that even if his appearance won't give him away, and if he lacks basic knowledge of that place, he can't help but get caught, and the demon asked him how did he know he won't kill him after he helped him. Then Hanbin pointed at the demon that he is a wanted beast, and even if he says that he doesn't have a choice, he still kills people. And the demon asked the Hanbin that he won't tell him about anyone, and also it's been a long time since he had been able to have a decent conversation like that, replied Hanbin. Then the demon said he will help him as he understood him, and told him to please not to tell anyone about him, as he told him that the first thing he need to change his clothes. But if he go out, he will be naked as the demon said, and he said the clothes are a little small for him, that he will have to tear the sleeves off as he was about to teach him the basis. And he said Hanbin can't just take off his clothes anywhere, and he said he knows about that already, that he should quickly tell him can meet goddesses, and he responded and said meeting goddesses is very rare, and even amongst the Latnians. Those days, he had to either be the one of the 4 heroes of the continent or have performed a great deed. Then the goddesses would personally descend to bless him. But at that moment, because of the demon god, Omphala's influence is the only way to receive blessings and is to become a hunter that tracks down the dungeons and monsters that Omphalos created. The guideline also mentioned that he would need to become a hunter in order to come in contact with the goddess, and the guideline is a sort of guidebook for the Otherworlders like him. Hanbin said his own was broken and he didn't really know what was going on, and he asked the demon to tell him what was in the window. The demon told him that unlike other vacations, hunters can move freely and can avoid suspicion even if their level is high, and which is why he must be extra cautious because many Otherworlders before him have tried the exact same strategy, and he told him that he must absolutely never act like a foreigner. And he said he was nervous that he couldn't relax his back because he was nervous. The receptionist called him Mr. Eric and told him not to be nervous and asked him if he was from the Campbell, and Hanbin happily responded yes, and he definitely looked suspicious, and then she welcomed Hanbin to the Ompros Hunters Guild. And he thought tagged if he had followed what Yi guidelines said, he could have been in serious shit, and the demon said he was claiming from the western backcountry and asked that how can someone who is only then trying to become a hunter and travel across the entire county, and that is the north, and just that Hanbin is from the North Campbell.